Hare Krishna. Why do we require to understand Bhagavad Gita from devotee of Krishna? Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvakave abravit. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained to Ikshvaku, and in this way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in course of time, it has become lost. So Bhagavad Gita has to be understood just like an academic education. If somebody tells that I will become an engineer or a doctor without going through the previous recommended teachers or an academic education, if they say I will know by myself, I don't need to go to the college, then they are not authorized representatives of either engineering institution or a medical institution. There will be fake representatives. There will be fake people. So Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna has recommended the Bhagavad Gita to be taken in a disciplic succession. What is disciplic succession? There are two ways of understanding knowledge. Suppose we see a mountain from far off place, and that mountain is covered with mist, snow. We cannot see properly. What is there we cannot see. So if suppose somebody is coming from that place and they tell us they come down from that hill, we are not able to see the hill also. We are seeing like a cloud. From far off distance it is like a cloud, especially in winter season when we are moving in vehicle. We cannot see something which is 10 feet in front of us. But if you see far away, it will be like some cloud. And we want to know what is there in that place. It looks a beautiful valley. Like some clouds are moving around. But if somebody comes from that place, we'll come to know what is the knowledge. If they descend down from that hill and come and tell us, this is descending process. They come down and they are telling us. So now, if we have to go closer, we will be seeing that it's not a cloud. When we go a little more closer, we'll say, there is a hill. It's green. There is green. So we move further towards the truth. We can say it is not a cloud. It's a hill. Then we little more closerly we see there are some people there, staying there. So, the spiritual knowledge, the understanding absolute truth, from far away, it may appear to be like some light, some cloud, some energy. So, Bhagavad Gita gives us much more clarity how to understand Brahman, then more than Brahman. Who is the person? Because everybody is Brahman, we are all spirit souls. But who is Parabrahman? Who is the source of the Brahman? That Parabrahman is Supreme Lord, Krishna. So this is understood when you understand that from descending process. Aroha Panta, Avaroha Panta. Ascending is arohana. This is research work. We keep on doing what happens, future what is there, just like we have learned in science in our school days that there was some Big Bang theory, there was some bomb, some blast, Big Bang theory, some millions of years back. Some millions of years back, some Big Bang happened and then life came up. Some thousands of years back, some animals were there, like apes, and they transferred themselves and they changed little by little, they changed, and they became a human being, Homo sapiens. So we read in our Darwin theory of evolution how we got evolved. So we call it as science. So does Darwin explain us as science? Because science means it should have evidence. Science means which is universal, it should be proved, experimented again. So now if you ask, why are no gorillas becoming human beings now? So then they say there is a missing link. So what is that missing link? The missing link is the philosophy itself. Actually, this knowledge of creation, of evolution, this is there in our Vedas, in the Padma Purana. It explains how Jalaja, Navalakshani, how there are so many species in water. All of these things are there. So Darwin took some idea, or his researchers who would have been there, they have taken some idea. And he very carefully presented. Darwin said it is his opinion. It is his analysis. He never said it is science. He presented it as a theory of evolution. It's a theory. It's not a law. Just like Newton, laws are there, they take up some natural laws. Like for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So these are all laws of nature. So if you are saying about creation, it should be a law. But here he gave a theory. Now we are speaking theory as science. Actually, science has evolved from philosophy. There it was a speculation. It was an interpretation. Maybe misinterpretation. That it maybe there was a blast and it started like that. And when we are discussing, it's all science. We say it's all science. What is science? How many million years back did Darwin go and see and come? So everything should be a proof. Where is the evidence? Okay, we are not science students, so we don't know. So let us go and ask some anthropologists who are doing research that how creation is happening, why it is not repeating. Because any process you do, it should repeat. Like we do small experiments in laboratories, just even making a small water, 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen you mix, it will be water. Yeah, it should be there, it should be proved. So why it is not happening? So there is a defect in research. This kind of research is not ascending process. You are trying to do research without anything understanding, oh, where is God, what is knowledge. You are trying to do everything in experimental knowledge. So it is anumana, hypothesis. It is not true science. So by hypothesis you cannot understand God or about absolute truth. So Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara praptam. You have to go to an authorized academic lineage coming from the Supreme Lord. And here, this knowledge is coming from the Lord, and it was first spoken to Sun God. So, when it is told like this, Krishna is Arjuna's friend, and Arjuna may get a doubt that we both are of same age, of same generation, and Sun God means millions of years back. So how did you go there to a higher planet and you gave education? So then Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita in the next shloka, O Arjuna, I have spoken this, you are also there that time. I can remember everything, but you cannot remember. There's one more difference between the Lord, Supreme Lord, and the ordinary living entity. Arjuna is a living entity. The Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So even though like our bodies are changing, we keep on changing our bodies. This body has a birth and has a death. But for the Supreme Lord, it is Janma Karma Chame Divyam, is appearance and disappearance. We don't say birth and death. Because he is like sun. Like sun appears in the east in the early morning and again sets. So it is not that now sun has gone means sun has dead. Some philosophers used to say every day the sun dies. Next day morning it takes birth. So he is like sun. He is a supreme sun. So the Lord is always present. So he can remember the past lives. Why we forget? Only few people, they recollect from their memories or some past lives they remember. Not everybody remembers. Actually it's a suffering. If you remember past life, until there is a purpose of remembering the past life, like Gajendra, he remembered the prayers of his past life when he was struck in water. When crocodile was catching its feet, he remembered his past life and he lamented that actually a devotee will never pray for favor for him. That is Sakama Bhakti. Sakama Bhakti means we are praying for fulfilling the desires of the Lord. But the devotees are Nishkama. They are desireless. They are not praying for, oh God, give me my daily bread or give me this, give me that. No. So Gajendra in his previous life was a king. And he used to offer to the Lord a lot of prayers. And because of a curse, he had become an elephant. And elephant is in the mode of ignorance. It has thick skin and it is always in sense enjoyment. And how can it understand the Supreme Lord? By the mercy of the Lord, any devotion you do, it continues again and again. And he remembered his past life. Like that even Jadabharata, he became a deer. Previous life, before that he was a king, King Bharata. He became a deer because he got attraction to a deer. Although he left his kingdom, he went to a forest and got attracted to a small baby deer. There was a deer which was about to give birth to a baby deer, and it had a fear that a tiger or lion was about to kill. So it jumped. And when it jumped, that baby deer actually came out and that mother deer actually died. So he took care of that and he took care of it so much. Actually, he left the big kingdom and came, but he got attached so much to that animal, poor animal. And he was remembering it always when he was doing prayers, holding it, moving it around. Then he got so much attached to it that without it, he could not sleep, he could not get up. And one day when he was searching for it everywhere and when he was about to die, he was full of thoughts of the deer and then he passed away. And as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, body, when you are giving up, Yannam vapi smaran, whatever you remember, you will get that birth. So he got that body of a deer. But because he was a spiritualist, the Lord retained his memory. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From the Lord comes remembrance and forgetfulness. So for our devotees, if they are getting a memory of the past, it is for spiritual benefit. For others, they are getting their past life is a suffering. Why the Lord makes somebody forget their past lives? Because they cannot enjoy. Suppose you remember your last 10 lives, what and all you have done, good and bad. You cannot enjoy your present body. The material nature's mercy it is to make us forget. Maybe you are having some disease or some bad memories, some accident. So many things can happen in life. Or you are attached to your wife so much, or your husband so much, and now you are having new husband, new wife, and you remember your old husband, old wife, where they are, God knows. Or they are, means they have taken birth, or they have become some animal or demigod, God knows. So that's why for others, when they remember previous birth, it's suffering. But for a devotee, suppose there is a requirement of memory, the Lord gives. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. He gives that memory. So the devotee can remember his past lives for a particular purpose. So then Gajendra, he could remember the prayers what he used to offer as a king in his previous life, and remember the Supreme Lord, and he prayed, my dear Lord, please help me. I know your pure devotees will not ask this kind of wishes, but I am asking you, please help me. So he asked, and Bharat Maharaj in his next life, when he became a deer, he separated out from his flock with the deers, and he came away, and he was staying near an ashram where great devotees stay, where he had actually left all his kingdom and where he was staying with the sages. He approached such kind of place, and again he understood that he has to come out of this deer body, and finally he left that body and he got one more body which is suitable for him to practice spirituality as Jadabharata. And in that life he was very, very careful. He was not after name and fame. He was only after spiritual life. But when he was tested by a great king, Rahugana, he was appeared like some thug. Jadabharata was very strong build man. And that King Rahugana asked him to carry his palanquin. So he was moving here and there. And the king got disturbed. What is this? Who is this person? And he scolded him. I am a king and you are doing like this. So then he actually was not caring, Jadabharata, and Jadabharata told that here there are a lot of ants. So how can he stamp on it? Then he said, today you are a king. One day I was a king. Or one day he will be a king. So like that some instructions he gave that we keep on changing our lives. Who is a king and who is a carrier? So this Rahugana realized that he had heard such kind of statements only from great sages. So he got down the palanquin and then he asked him some certain questions, and when he realized that he was a great sage, so he actually told that I am not worried about some weapons, great weapons of Indra or of Lord Shiva. Like that, there are big, big weapons, anybody can get worried. Or even Yamaraj's weapon of death, his rod of punishment. So everybody are worried about it. He said, I am not worried about any weapon attacking me as much as I committing a Vaishnava aparad, offense to a devotee, Supreme Lord. A devotee of the Supreme Lord, if I offend, what will happen to me? I am worried about that. You see, actually this is something which we have to really get worried. A pure devotee of the Lord has surrendered everything to the Lord. And when he gets injured by anybody, the Lord will not be quiet. It's just like a father. If you insult him, he'll be quiet. He may be a big man or a small man. But if you touch his child, he will not be quiet. Similarly, if you become the devotee of the Lord, you don't have to get worried about your protection. What will happen to me in my life? Everything will be taken care by the Lord. The Lord will take care of a devotee in every circumstance. So our previous life memories can be forgotten or remembered. But the Supreme Lord will make us remember only when it is needed. But for by himself, he always remembers. So Lord Krishna, he remembered everything in the past, that millions of years back, he had told this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to the Sun God. And the Sun God name was Vivaswan. What is this Sun God name, Vivaswan? This body is made up of 5 primary elements and 3 subtle elements. Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhi, Revacha. Like earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then mind, intelligence, false ego. This is how our body and mind, intelligence, all these are made up of. So, Binna, Prakritir, Ashtada. There are 8 elements. So this is how this material creation is done. So now in the earthly planet, we have earthly body. It's very easy to understand. Just like in the water, there is water body. So if you have to enter into water, we have seen people who go inside to take some photography and understand. Within the water they put oxygen and they have a body which can move like how the other aquatics are moving. Similarly, astronauts, they go to a different atmosphere. They have to wear certain kind of dress which is suitable for that climate. So if you see, in the other planets also, they have a body which is suitable for that place. Now we may say research now, we went to moon, there were nobody there, or in sun nobody can come, nobody can go there. So that Krishna cannot be a liar. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, he spoke to Sun God. And his name is Vivaswan. And he gave this knowledge again to his son. That means there are father, son, families are there. It means there is a planet inhabited. It's a higher planet. So people are there. So they have fiery bodies. Their body is more of fire. Like most of the bacteria die when we heat. That's why they say you to take hot water, warm water when you are having some cold or you are sick. But there are also some worms in fire. In Sanskrit also some name is there in connection with that. There is some fire worms are there. So in this planet itself, if you can find, can you imagine in the higher planets, they are much more advanced than us. We require earthly inventions to move. Our instruments are very, very inaccurate to move around in the higher space. Our satellites which are moving around, if they go closer to sun, they may burn. You cannot go. You cannot use a spaceship which can go to the sun. But definitely within the sun planet, their bodies are made in such a way that they will not get burnt. Like if you have to be in fire, you have to be like fire. You have to be like water, you have to be like water. If you are in earth, you have to be like earth, earthly inhabitant. That's why if you see, when you are near the ocean or near a sea, beach, some aquatic animals, which also can move on earth, they start moving towards the sand. And if they see there is any kind of danger, the human beings are moving around, they run towards the water. When some big waves come towards human beings, they run towards the land because we are inhabitants of that. It's very natural. That's how they say that if you are so natural towards the Lord, then if there is any danger, you will move towards the Lord. Where is your shelter? For them, water is shelter, so they run towards water. So inhabitants are like that. So there are inhabitants in the sun planet, and there this knowledge was given. Ikshvaku gave to Vaivastava Manu. Manu is the father of mankind. So this Manu word, if you see even in other like Greek and Latin, this Manu, from this word Manu, man word has come. Mankind actually has come, Manu. And Manu later explained this to Ikshvaku, his son. And this dynasty of Ikshvaku, his son dynasty, is the one where Lord Ramchandra appears. So there is a lineage which was coming. So what happened? But in course of time, Sakalena Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa. By time, this knowledge got lost. Why it got lost? Because what happens, if there are some 10 people and one person changes little knowledge, then it can bring out a new meaning or a different meaning or totally change the meaning. Even in material knowledge, they make some role play with some 10-20 people saying that they will give one message and they will say, you are the 50th person, means they will say the 49th person without seeing something, they have to say something in the ear. Like that the message is passed on from one person to one person. What the 50th person told, by the time it reaches the first person, the message would have been totally corrupted or it would have been changed. So, it's not a transparent medium of knowledge. If it's a transparent medium, parampara should be a transparent medium. It's just like if you write in a paper, please give this paper to somebody. You write the paper and that message is just like that, moving one person to one person. Even if it goes 100 or 1000 people, the message is not changed. But if there is a chance of interpretation, misinterpretation, by one person to one person to one person, it keeps on changing. So by time, somewhere a person would have changed. But actually parampara knowledge means it cannot be changed. We say, maybe it's a very old knowledge. This is a prokta puratanaha, it's a very old knowledge. So old, it's like old wine in a new bottle. It's the same knowledge. Like sun, moon, satellites, everything are there always. Earth is always there. Like sun rises in the east. Even thousands of years goes, not that it will again change to the west. So nothing changes. So we have to understand Bhagavad Gita without interpretation. That's why this parampara knowledge is so important. So here what happened? Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that I am again telling to you, Arjuna, because it's a supreme secret. And why he is telling? Because he is his devotee and friend. You have to understand Bhagavad Gita from Krishna's representative, because it's a discussion which has happened between two very close friends. Not only they are close friend, Arjuna accepted Krishna as his master and he became a disciple of Krishna. So there is an example which is set up in Bhagavad Gita, how to understand Bhagavad Gita. You cannot accept Bhagavad Gita in a challenging spirit. You have to accept in a submissive spirit. Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena seva. You have to ask questions. Not that you have to blindly accept Bhagavad Gita, but you have to ready to become a student of Bhagavad Gita. If you are not ready to become a student of Bhagavad Gita, then why at all you touch Bhagavad Gita? Why do you require Bhagavad Gita? Because Bhagavad Gita is famous. Do you want to become famous by using your own logic and say Bhagavad Gita and you use your own information? Like sometimes a person, when he is killed, somewhere he killed somebody, and in the court they asked, why you killed? He said, because Krishna has told in the Bhagavad Gita to kill, so I killed. So did Krishna say somebody to kill like that? This is a Dharma Yuddha. The principles of war, they are according to the principles of Dharma, of righteousness, of truth. So this is where Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. The first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, it starts with Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. It is a place of pilgrimage, Kurukshetra. Krishna had actually come to Kurukshetra even before this battlefield happened. Just like we have Jagannath Puri as a place of pilgrimage. Haridwar, Rishikesh, Badrinath, Dwaraka, Rameshwaram, Tirupati, Kashi, like this. Even Kurukshetra was a very well-known pilgrimage, even 5,000 years back. 5,000 years back, Krishna actually had come to Kurukshetra with his father, Vasudeva, and he met even the inhabitants of Vrindavan. They celebrated solar eclipse, they gave charity, and they went back. It's a place of pilgrimage. I will tell you now what is the difference between parampara knowledge of Kurukshetra and something which is given misinterpretation. There are more than 1,000 commentaries of Bhagavad Gita, but everybody gives a commentary which is favorable for their own philosophy. Even good people or bad people, they had some purpose. Like Mahatma Gandhi, he wanted to propagate ahimsa during pre-independence period. So he wrote a Bhagavad Gita commentary. And in that Bhagavad Gita, he writes Kurukshetra war as a body of a man. Good and bad as Pandavas, Kauravas. Maybe he wanted to suitably present it for people to take up independence movement. Even Bal Gangadhar Tilak, he gave an interpretation on Bhagavad Gita. So they all were great freedom fighters of India. But that is not the way which was recommended by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita to know Bhagavad Gita knowledge. If you see the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. So Kurukshetra is actually a place of pilgrimage even now in India. Some 2 hours you travel from Delhi, New Delhi, you can find Kurukshetra. So it is the same place, Jyotisar it is called, where Kurukshetra, there is a Kurukshetra University also, well-known university is there, where technical students also study there. So it's a famous place in India. It is not an imagination. You can catch a train and go there. This is how a person who is coming in disciplic succession, they prove that how Bhagavad Gita is not a mythological discussion between Arjuna and Krishna. It really happened. And it happened in India in a place called Kurukshetra, and there people even now go there. And especially for eclipse, it's very famous even now. Recently when solar eclipse happened also, many people, they participated, took bath there. So it's a very special place, Kurukshetra. So there, what happened? Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, this place of pilgrimage, Kurukshetra. So what happens in a pilgrimage place? Generally in pilgrimage places, there are many thieves who go and steal, some pilgrims who have come, or there are a lot of beggars asking for alms. So a lot of good and bad will be there. But if you, in connection to spirituality, if a person wants to become some spiritualist or a religious ceremony he wants to practice, he goes to a pilgrimage place, from his own native place. That time he keeps some vows that I will not steal, I will not do this, like that. They personally have some vows. We are not talking about thieves of pilgrimage, but we are talking about people who actually practice some vows and then go to pilgrimage. So there was a story of a thief actually who had gone to a pilgrimage and taken a vow that he will not steal. So what he was doing, when he went to a pilgrimage, there he got up in the night because he so used to get up. Then he was searching here and there what to do. So next day, as an habit, because the habits do not die so easily, so he started, instead of stealing, he took up one item, bag, and kept somewhere, again kept. So next day morning, when people woke up, they saw their bags are missing. And then they found their bag is there in one more person place and that bag was there. And there was some confusion. He told, no, actually it's my mistake. I have done this because I didn't want to steal. I am in pilgrimage. So even a thief, you see, actually he gets into a pilgrimage also, he gets a feeling I should not steal. Even more pilgrimage place there are like this. Like wherever when you go, you take a vow. You have done mistake in a village previously, you have done a mistake in a village, they take you to in the front of the temple or in a pilgrimage. They will say, you promise and tell that you have not done this mistake. A person is a really hardcore criminal, he will anyway say lies. But 90% of the people were very pious, and the moment they go to pilgrimage place, they will feel, no, I should not say lies, and they should accept truth. So pilgrimage class has some significance in every pious person. So now, why this first shloka of Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre is asked. Dharmakshetre is a pilgrimage place, and they have gone, their battlefield, Kurukshetra, fighting is supposed to be arranged. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta. Everybody have gathered. Who have gathered? Mamakaha, my sons. This statement is told by Dhritarashtra, a blind man. A blind man, not only physically, but a blind man even in intelligence. Even in his mental state, he had become very corrupted, contaminated. He had become blind with power, material power. He was thinking that this kingdom I should get somehow or the other. He tried many ways. He put his, because he didn't get the kingdom, because he was having blindness, it was given to his younger brother Pandu. So now he thought, why it should go to my brother's children, it should come to my children. So he started making a conspiracy. Right from childhood he wanted to kill Pandu's children, Pandavas. And he kept that in his mind so strongly that Pandavas should be finished. He set fire, he tried killing them by putting fire. Like that, so many ways they tried. They insulted them and they sent them away. So he was determined, Mamaka, my children, and Pandavas Traiva, Pandavas, they should fight. They should fight, and anyway, because there are only 5 people and we are hundreds. Kauravas are 100 and they'll definitely be successful. That was his overconfidence. And Sanjaya, at the end of the discussion of Bhagavad Gita, he says, don't be overconfident. My master Dhritarashtra, who is there in the battlefield, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna. Krishna, the supreme mystic, is there. Partha Dhananjaya, who is the next person? Dhananjaya. He is a more successful archer. When they are there, Vijaya, victory is guaranteed. So he actually tells at the end. But here the starting, the fighting before the discussion, he is actually worried. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva, my children and Pandava's children have come together for what? Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yuyutsavaha. They have come for fighting. Yuyutsava means, there is a Japanese word also for Yuyutsava, Jujutsu. This word Jujutsu comes from Yuyutsavaha, fighting spirit. This karate, judo and all have come from that Jujutsu and all. So this is there in Sanskrit thousands of years back. They are explained. Pandavas and Kauravas have come together in a fighting spirit. Then generally somebody comes, they have to fight, no? Like how like everything is served in the plate. What happens? Will anybody ask? What will happen? After that they will eat. So then why is he asking? Because he doesn't want to change the fight. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. What is happening, Sanjaya? Are they really fighting? Or it's a Dharmakshetra pilgrimage place? Have they come together and discussed, okay, Pandavas, now we will give back your kingdom, don't fight, there is no need of fighting. Have their mind changed? This is Dhritarashtra's feeling. So if you learn from Parampara knowledge, these many things are of each word of Bhagavad Gita, there is a meaning. One more thing, very nicely our Acharya Srila Prabhupada gives explanation. He tells how this Bhagavad Gita, when it was spoken 5,000 years back, this was happening in the battlefield. And here, Sanjaya is a secretary of Dhritarashtra. They are sitting in palace in Hastinapura. Hastinapura is present day New Delhi. So Kurukshetra, they are sitting some hundreds of kilometers away. It's exactly like a television transmission happening. Sanjay is able to see from a television and he is explaining to his blind master, who is Dhritarashtra. And how is he able to see? That means there should have been a television. That means there should have been very advanced than us. And where is he seeing? How is he seeing television? It is said, by the mercy of his guru, spiritual master Vyasa, he had a vision of television within his heart. Like we can, like how we can have a touch screen. In the mobile we have to see from our eyes. But Sanjaya could touch his heart, and from his heart he had a vision to see what is exactly happening in the battlefield. So right now a lot of inventions are happening. Maybe the scientists have to do much more research how to see from the heart. There also transmission can happen, but you don't need battery, you don't have to charge, you don't need electrical energy. Now our aeroplanes, because of pandemic time, lot of airlines had stopped. So they were all saying they are in loss because petrol cost has increased and no passengers are there. But in those days, they were very advanced. They had aeroplanes which could be made on flowers, Pushpaka Vimana. They could create and fly. So they were very advanced than us. They had nuclear weapons which could be by some sound they could create. They were not gross weapons like how they are having, they were subtle weapons. Subtle also is material, matter. There is subtle matter also. Like we can feel ego. Suppose somebody scolds you, you'll get ego clash. It means ego is hurting you, no? So there is actually, it is also a finer matter. Why we feel bad when somebody says, and we'll really feel pain also internally. These are all real feelings, they are subtle feelings. The philosophers nowadays, some philosophers may identify this mind as soul, intelligence as soul, as body as soul. No, what is soul you have to understand properly from the disciplic successions of Bhagavad Gita. There it is said how this knowledge is not material, but it is spiritual knowledge. So this parampara knowledge will teach us evam parampara praptam. Why we have to take knowledge is because each word has a meaning, and if you have to understand it in disciplic succession, then you will get the real benefit of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, many times people say, whatever I read, it is going out above my head, because we are not understanding what is Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes people say, yeah, Bhagavad Gita has told you all have to be good people, like in general teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Bhagavad Gita is not only general teaching, you all have to be good, don't do bad, do good to others, and you will get benefit, take care of your family. So these are some moral instructions which are there in many scriptures. Bhagavad Gita is not such scripture. They will say some 10 basic things which are told in Bhagavad Gita, that you have to take care of your health, you have to take care of your family. Bhagavad Gita speaks about taking care of your health, means it is saying about your regulations of your body and mind. But it is not saying you settle in your body, you be always in your material life, then you die. It is not telling anything like that. Bhagavad Gita gives knowledge how to separate out matter and spirit. So here we understand this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita has to be understood by a devotee like Arjuna. And here Arjuna is especially a very intimate friend. Arjuna and Krishna, they were moving together, sharing together a lot of experiences. There was once a fight. From heavenly kingdom, Arjuna had to fight because he gave protection to one Maya Danava, one demon. And he gave protection to that demon, and because of that, the Devatas started fighting with Arjuna, and Arjuna fought with even Devatas and won over them. So when Krishna was next to him, he never feared even higher Devatas, demigods also. So Arjuna was so confident that Krishna is next to him means he can do anything. That was the confidence of Arjuna. He just wanted Krishna to be in his side. That's the confidence of a devotee. If I am having Krishna, I don't require anything. A devotee, how his prayers have to be there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Vaishnava Acharya, he has written a song. He is saying, Kita Janma Hoy, even if I become a small insect, Hoy Tuva Das, let me become your servant. I don't mind taking birth as an insect, but I want to become your servant, my dear Lord. I want to become a servant of your servant. I don't mind being a small insect or a small bacteria also if I become a servant of the Lord, by becoming a servant of the servant. If I get a birth of a Brahma, but he is not a devotee of the Lord, Nahi Morash, I don't have any desire to become Brahma. Brahma position is highest in this material world, but I don't desire such position, because what is the use if I am not your devotee? So this is devotee position. They are not worried at all about any material matters. They are purely have relation with Krishna. So this is what is the mood of Bhagavad Gita. If you want to become a student of Bhagavad Gita, then you can have relationship. There are 5 ways of having relationship with the Lord: in the active state, passive state, or as a friend, or as a parent, or as a conjugal lover. Some or the other, you have to have relation with Krishna. If you have to become a student of Bhagavad Gita, you should have some relation with Krishna. You have to accept the Lord as a master in an active way or in a passive manner. You should accept him. Arjuna was a friend. So, but there is in the friendship, there is a gulf of difference between material friendship and spiritual friendship. Because spiritual friendship means it's always continuing. Material friendship is always want to satisfy in a material platform, and everything ends at the time of death. That's how when we go and approach devatas and we ask them, please give me blessings for my body or controlling family. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, anyway this body is gone. So why do you require? And what kind of these desires are? These desires are desired by alpamedasam, by less intelligent people. People who are less intelligent, they want these material desires, and these material desires actually are there only up to this body is there. Whatever blessings you get, suppose you become very rich, then next life if you have to become a beggar, what is the use? Now you are having so much of money, next life you will become a beggar. So what is use of that wealth? So, kamaisthaistha ritajnana prabhadyante anya devataha. Because of material desires, they go to the devatas, and all these desires actually they go away. Alpamedasam. Alpamedasa is very less intelligent. If you are desiring material life by worshipping the devatas, you are very, very less intelligent. So, and all these are antavat, they stop, they go away. So the Bhagavad Gita knowledge explains to us what is the goal of life. It also explains why we should not get stuck with this body. We are changing our body from animal life to human life, and the human life is meant not to again go to the higher planets and enjoy this body. Our position, a real position, it is said that even living being out of many, many billions and trillions of living beings have a particular relationship with the Lord, and that is called Swarupa. We have a constitutional position in connection with the Lord, and that stage, if you can revive, that is called Swarupa Siddhi. So, the perfection of one's constitutional position. Jivere Swarupa hoy Krishna Nitya Das. Our real position is to be the servant of the Lord. Servant is not a material servant like how we see. A servant means he is being given order, okay, you do like this. And a master is sitting like a boss, like this. But spiritual relationship is not like that. There was a devotee who was not much educated, but his guru had told him, you have to read Bhagavad Gita. So he was holding a book of Bhagavad Gita and reading it. And when he was reading, all his friends knew that he doesn't know properly to read, and they are making fun of him. Oh Pandit, Bhagavad Gita padh raha hai kya? Are you reading Bhagavad Gita? They are making fun of him. Are you reading Bhagavad Gita? Pandit. So when this guru had told him, this happened 500 years back in a very famous temple near Srirangam, South India, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to tour there. So he saw this Pandit is reading Bhagavad Gita, and he called him, oh Pandit. So now this person knew that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not making fun of him. So he said, Sir, actually I am not educated, I am not much learned, but my Guru has told to read Bhagavad Gita, so I am reading. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that's all right, but why are tears coming to you? I am understanding that you are reading Bhagavad, but why tears are coming to you? He said, actually I don't know. When I take up the book of Bhagavad Gita, I see the Supreme Lord, He has become a charioteer for His devotee. He is driving His chariot. My Supreme Lord, my Lord, is ready to accept a servant position. Just by thinking for that, my tears are not stopping. So when he heard this from the devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him and said, you are really a devotee. This is the way to understand Bhagavad Gita. You are a real student of Bhagavad Gita. So, Bhagavad Gita is not meant for misinterpretation. Interpretation is required when there is something which cannot be understood. Otherwise, why we have to interpret that Kurukshetra is body or this, that, so many things. Or Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you should surrender to me, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. There some scholars will say it is not for Krishna, it is for something else, some energy of the Lord or something like that they say. So these are all misinterpretation. So you have to connect to the Lord. How to connect to the Lord? How Arjuna accepted Krishna. Parabrahma, Paramdama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. You are the Supreme Lord, he is saying. Then, Ahustvam Rishayas Sarve, Devashir Naradastata. Maybe we can think they both are friends talking. So Arjuna is clarifying. No, the great sages like Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and Swayam Chaiva Bravishime, you yourself are telling. So that's why I am accepting you. Sarvameta Tratam Manya Yanmam Vadasi Keshava Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Dhanavaha. So here, how the Supreme Lord has been accepted by truth, and you have told, neither the gods nor demigods know you. The Lord is not so easily being known to even great administrative gods or demigods or devatas. Even they cannot make out. Here it is said, Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Dhanavaha. Deva or Dhanava, both cannot understand you so easily. You have to be understood only by devotion. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, through bhakti you can know me. He has not told Jnani mam abhijanati. By Jnani you will know me. So these are the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. To know Bhagavad Gita, people ask, I want to learn Bhagavad Gita. Can you teach Bhagavad Gita shlokas to my children? Or to learn Bhagavad Gita is not to learn only shlokas. Each shloka, first shloka of Bhagavad Gita itself has so much of meaning. So if you go more and more, then you will dig higher and higher treasure in Bhagavad Gita. There is a treasure of Bhagavad Gita, when you taste it, you cannot give it up. So the spiritual matters are like that, you cannot stop. Once you taste it, you cannot stop it. So such kind of spiritual matters are hidden in Bhagavad Gita, which you have to understand in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna as Parabrahman. And that's the way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. So we will learn more and more secrets of Bhagavad Gita only when you become the devotee of the Lord. You don't have to have erudite scholarships, or you have to become a jnani, or you have to become the best karmi to understand Bhagavad Gita. Just become a small devotee of the Lord and all secrets are revealed. So we learn more and more about Bhagavad Gita by becoming his devotee. Hare Krishna. Jai Jagannath.